How can people be respected when the world is so obsessed with being liked?
My thought is if you're someone that everybody likes, then you're probably not being authentic to yourself. There is preferences and tastes to everybody. You're not meant to be for everybody. You're not meant to be. Now that doesn't mean you can't be kind and nice, and somebody say, yeah, they're a nice person, but that doesn't mean you have to make everybody absolutely like you to where your entire worth is derived from them. That makes you codependent on the whole world, where you go, I can't be okay if you're not okay with me. I'm not okay with me unless you're okay with me. Well, that's codependency by definition. So it's that outward need, right? And in conversation, and really in any context, you'd say, well, how do we deal with this? Want to be liked versus want to be respected. I can be respected by you even though you don't like me. I'm okay with somebody not liking me. The question anybody listening has to ask is, am I okay with somebody not liking me? And if so, why is that? Why is that? Is it because it doesn't feel good? Is it because it gives you some kind of angst or heartburn? If I had to guess, the reason is if somebody else is not happy with you, then you can't be happy with yourself. And you're always going to continue to derive your own self-worth based on how you perceive or assume somebody's worth is placed on you.
So I think when people hear like terms like we were just talking about, and they say that, I want to be nice to people because if I just want their respect and I have to stand up for myself, that means I have to be mean. What do you say to that?
Being respected does not mean being feared. Being respected does also mean you don't have to be loved. There's that age-old question of, is it better to be loved or to be feared? And that gets to the root of, how do you define respect? Respect is, by definition, admiration for someone because of their abilities, actions, accomplishments, whatever it is. It's a deeply rooted admiration for someone. That does not mean that you have to love them or really even like them. I might respect, I had a really harsh basketball coach. I didn't love him, but I definitely respected him. My dad, I love my dad, and I also respect my dad. So the two are not mutually exclusive. If you're somebody who thinks I have to be nice, so if you have this sense of I want to be nice, but I want to be respected, that means I have to be feared. You don't have to. Let me rephrase it. Neither one is the right answer. It is more about respect is a verb. It is an action. That's how we derive the meaning from it. How do I know that I'm speaking too aggressively? It's because I'm not showing respect for you. How do I know when I'm speaking too much of hesitant and being a people pleaser? That means I'm not having respect for myself. You can be assertive and say, you know what, I respect both myself, and because I respect myself and I respect you, I'm willing to tell you what others would not. I'm willing to tell you the hard truth. And in that is something that is admirable, and you will find the respect from somebody else, especially when you do hard things. When you do hard things, people will admire it, even if it's not something that they necessarily want.
How much does self-talk play into these conversations we're having, like with how people show up?
Self-talk is step number one. Let me put it this way. Some of the most harsh people I've seen, the people in your life that they nag you the most, they're the most detailed, they complain, they harp on you, they're critical. The people in your life who are critical, I can guarantee you they are just as harsh on themselves as they are on you. because that's their internal monologue. They are critical, hard, and harsh on themselves. They have negative self-talk, and that negative self-talk can only come out as negative talk on you. Whether it's what they expect you to do, what you should do, it's the nagging mother-in-law, it's the overbearing father, it's typically parent relationship, because it is, they have in themselves that they were never enough, they were not happy with themselves, so they have to make you their source of happiness and make you in this image for them to be okay with them, even though it's a complete disregard for you and your own identity. To really, you can lose parts of your own childhood, you can lose parts of your own adolescence and even in adulthood, because your whole life has been trying to be somebody else. That goes all into self-talk. If I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough, well, then I'm gonna talk as if I'm not good enough. If I tell myself that I'm an inconvenience and I'm in everybody's way, then that's how I'm going to talk. I'm going to have the over apologies. I'm going to have the over explanations. I'm going to have the, hey, so sorry, just 1 second. I hate to bother you. All of these kind of instances where I am trying to make myself less and less in the conversation, that all begins with the self-talk. So usually, not usually, I would say always, this is one of the few times I would use that extreme. The most important conversation you're ever going to have is the conversation that you have with yourself.
You know, our first couple conversations we've had on the show and a lot of your content revolves around communicating with other people. And, you know, what I just heard you say is just something I want to double click on, because, you know, we haven't covered self-talk with you and I in our dialogue yet. Like, how can people build reps in that self-talk muscle so they can show up more confidently, so they can feel better about themselves? Like, what are some things that people could do on a regular basis to improve that?
One, identify their current core beliefs. Their current core beliefs, not what they wish they were, but what they are now. So what are the, let's say, top 3 to 5 statements? And these are something for somebody to write down. Take the time to write them down. What are your core beliefs? What do you think about yourself? What do you it's almost like directing your own company values. You know, somebody who's having a hard time in life, one of their core values might be, my worth is derived from everybody else. Maybe that could be a core belief. My core belief is that lies protect me. My core belief is that people can't know the real me. Like the hard, harsh core beliefs that you currently have. And then what you do is write down the core beliefs you wish you had. And all that is just the inverse. It's just the opposite of the core beliefs that you hold right now. And so when you reverse them, for example, if it's lies protect me, the opposite of that is lies hurt me. That's part of your positive core belief, right? So one is you identify these core beliefs. You need to make sure that you have those. Once you do have those, the next step is to actually put those into action and ways of understanding what is your thinking process. In other words, what is the old scripts you've been telling yourself throughout life? Every one of us have this cassette tape, you know, that we put in and play anytime things go hard in life. Anytime difficulty gets cranked up, we play old scripts. And those might sound like, I always have to be perfect. I'm always going to be alone. Nobody's going to be here to protect me. Nobody really cares for me. I'm the only one that I can trust. These core beliefs, right, that are just played on tape that we listen to when things get hard. We as soon as something hard happens in life, we go grab that cassette tape, put it in, play it, and all of a sudden we're hearing in our head, I'm going to be abandoned. Nobody loves me. Nobody respects me. And these are all, you know, tied to childhood identity. This is childhood trauma 101. And what that does is then reflects in exactly that negative self-talk. So what do? You listen to this podcast, you identify your core beliefs, you identify those old scripts and start challenging them. That's what you do. And on top of that, what would be good, go see a mental health professional. That's what you really need to go do, because that kind of stuff helps. You need to identify what that old script is. That's the only way. I when I coach, um, like high end professionals, they always want to talk about first, what are the techniques about the future? And I say, no, we got to go back. What do you, we can't, techniques are just band-aids, right? You have to go back to find out what are the old scripts that I've been playing long before we ever met each other.